Today's video is on how to solve an algebra problem or any math problem, or actually not even a math problem, any problem you're ever faced with. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to use a problem-solving plan. Pretty much a problem-solving plan is broken up into steps. So the first step is you need to read and understand the problem. And a lot of times when you look at a math problem or you look and think, oh, there's a ton of words here, but if you read through the problem and you can identify what you know and what you don't know. So step one in reading and understand the problem, you need to identify what you know and what you don't know, or what you need to know, what you need to know. So that's step one. Step two is make a plan. How am I going to tackle this problem? So in math, you look at it and you read this problem and you're trying to figure out how am I going to solve it, and you make your plan. You decide what operations, what are your variables going to be, is it an equation or is it an inequality? So you are pretty much deciding on the approach. And also in this deciding on the approach, or you're thinking, do I want to use an equation? Will a picture help? How about a chart? Should I illustrate this? There's a lot of different ways that you can decide to solve the problem. And then step three is carry out your plan, which is solve the problem. So carry out your plan. Well, if you go through and you come up with a way to solve the problem and you carry out the plan and it doesn't work, then what do? You go back and try again. If it works, then yahoo. But if it doesn't work, let me try spelling that. Doesn't work, then try again. And then we have step four, which is pretty much look back and check your answer. And this is an important one because you want to look back and you want to say, does my answer make sense? So if I'm trying to figure out, for example, let's just say I want to buy something and I need to say I want to buy a bike. And it costs $500. How much am I going to need to save over the next 3 months to be able to afford the bike? Well, I can figure that out. If my answer, if I come up with it says that I need to save $1,000 a week for the next 3 months to save $500, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So you want to go back, you want to look and see, does my answer make sense? Okay, let's do an example. So in an aviary, and an aviary is where they have a lot of birds, there are 3 times as many finches, and that should say as, there are 3 times as many finches as bluebirds. If there are 48 birds in all, how many bluebirds are there? Well, let's see here. I've got finches and I've got bluebirds. So I've got bluebirds plus finches equals 48 altogether. Well, I don't know how many I have of either one, but if I said that there was B bluebirds, and according to this it says there are 3 times as many finches as there are bluebirds. That means finches would be 3 times B equals 48. So here I've got 1B plus 3B equals 48. If I add them together, and I just add my numbers, I get 4B equals 48. Well, 4 times what equals 48? That means that B equals 12. So I have 12 bluebirds. If I have 12 bluebirds, that means I've got 36 inches. All right, does that make sense? Yes, it does. When you are solving a problem, oftentimes you need to use formulas. And formulas are equations that relate two or more quantities. And they're useful, very useful in problem solving. A few of these formulas that you'll be using are for temperature, and that's converting Celsius or Fahrenheit to Celsius. And Fahrenheit is what we use. Celsius is what like Canada and the rest of the world uses. Simple interest. This is, the money that you might make at the bank. You make it at the bank on your savings account or something. Distance traveled. The distance equals the rate times the time. Profit is how much money you make, your income, minus how much stuff cost. So here are four very important formulas that we'll be using, not just in this section, but also throughout the year. All right, let's do some examples. If it's 40 degrees Fahrenheit, what is the temperature in Celsius? Well, according to that list, my equation I'm going to use is Celsius equals 5/9 times F minus 32. So let's see here. If F is 40, so I have F equal to 40. I'll have C equals 5/9, 40 minus 32. 40 minus 32 is 8. So I have 5/9 times 8/1. Multiplying fractions, I do 5 times 8, and I get 40/9 times 1, which is 9. 9 goes into 40. Let's see here. About 4 4/9 times. So it's about, I'm going to say that's about 4.5 degrees Celsius. All right, next question. A plane flies 680 miles in 2 hours. How fast does it fly? Well, this is going to be my distance equals rate times time. I know that my distance equals 680. I know that my time equals 2 hours. So apparently I'm looking for rate. So what I'm going to do is plug in what I know. And that is 680. Whoopsie. That is, let's try that one again. 680 equals rate times 2. So if I divide 680 by 2, I get my rate equals 340 miles per hour. All right, a couple word problems for you to give a shot at and before class. First one, a landscaping company charges 45 cents per square foot to lay down sod. Now, for those of you who are not big on landscaping, sod is basically instant lawn. It's like dirt with dirt on one side and grass on the other. And it's just cut in like squares, and you lay it down and it grows together, and voila, you have a lawn. How much will it cost to put sod down on a rectangular lawn that is 38 feet by 23 feet? That's your first problem. Your second one, if it is 18 degrees Fahrenheit, what is the temperature in Celsius? Give those two a shot, and I will see you in class tomorrow.